yeah. Fire, fire, yeah. All right, let's do it. Fat acceptance is over.
Well, I guess another one bites the dust.
That's grim.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. Just a reminder once again, for those of you who don't know, 50% off on my tea website, Lion's Tea Exchange, for the flavors Earl Grey, New York Breakfast, and Emerald Green, because they are expiring, although tea doesn't really expire, at the end of November. I don't want to throw them out, so I would love for you guys to go and check them out. If you haven't bought tea already, go and do so, because they're very tasty. Use the code We Don't Waste. Okay, let's do the video. So,
Yay!
my little baby birds, fat acceptance, the thing that has dominated almost everything for the last decade or so, whether we'd asked for it or not, which most of us haven't. Also, don't any of you judge the way that I am holding this mug. It is both heavy and hot. Ironically, all the things
a huge
that fat
mug.
acceptance women wish they were. Hello, cherub children. Editing Sydney from the future here. I just realized that the last fat acceptance movement video that I made, I wore this exact same shirt, and it's entirely a coincidence
Same
that I did it
shirt!
again. I own different
She's asmaning out. She's got the same shirt.
clothes, I promise, but I guess going forward, this is going to be the fat acceptance shirt. So there's that. I just wanted to
Same
acknowledge
shirt,
it 'cause I
same
thought
shirt,
it was
same
funny.
shirt.
But this has been a movement that's been quite challenging to escape. From fat models going down runways to taking up magazine covers and billboards. The
Holy
modeling
shit,
industry
man.
itself has grown bigger, with plus-size models comprising of 26%
1 in 4 models?
of all models at major fashion week events globally as of 2025. Fat activists went so hard that the fashion industry even started making fat mannequins. As fat acceptance and body positivity blew up online, activists on TikTok created an entire intersectional hierarchy
What?
of fatness.
They're fighting against each other. No, I'm fatter. I'm actually a fat model. No, you're chubby. You have no right to speak on fat people. Oh my god, this is what I mean. The goalposts keep moving.
You've heard about fat phobia, but have you heard about skinny supremacy? And yes, I traded out the tea because this is light and skinny, sort of.
And I think that's what it is. You have to constantly uphold thinness as supremacy. Even
So because you don't weigh 400 pounds like one of the models, you weigh 150 pounds. That means that you're lower on the totem pole of oppression? Interesting. It's called being healthy. No, to be skinny is to colonize. I don't know, I'm just making shit up. I don't actually think that.
if it means you are, in telling them, oh, you're so much better now, you're like shitting on yourself. That's the other reason I don't do it, because I don't want to say thinness is inherently better, because that means I'm...
But being fat can lead to health problems, and it's not fun. Huh? Dude, my brain... my brain actually physically hurts trying to fucking understand the mental gymnastics.
inherently worse.
And my personal
It
favorite,
is!
the BMI scale is
It's also really bad to be really skinny. Like...
racist.
Especially if you're a white woman like myself, is
Oh
how
my
our
God.
participation in diet culture and the pursuit of the thin ideal is a form of racism. It's
Being thin is racist. Oh my god. Oh, there it is.
upholding the white supremacist ideals. It's really
In what universe was it ever written by the Ku Klux Klan that the criteria to be in the Ku Klux Klan or being a white supremacist is to be skinny? I bet you $100 there's probably out there someone in the KKK that's fat. I bet you $100.
important that we see that we are participating in this supremacy culture and in the body hierarchy by continuing our obsession with thinness. And so if you want to learn more about this, Google the bizarre and racist roots of the BMI.
They teach
Let me guess, the KKK made it up. Or did Hitler make it up?
this stuff at universities, just so that you guys know. In case you needed another...
The BMI, by the way, BMI isn't even a good thing. There's a lot of massive, huge men who are big and muscly that weigh a lot and they're fairly tall on average, and the BMI would think that they're fat because that's how it works. I don't even think BMI is even an accurate representation. There's plenty of people who are on the skinny side who are plenty healthy. It's just that they're naturally really skinny. They have a high metabolism. It doesn't mean anything.
reason to go become a plumber. For the last number of years, fat activists have even argued that they shouldn't have to purchase an additional seat on airplanes if they're...
Oh! So what if you weigh less? Does that mean you get half a plane seat off? That's kind of poggers. Yeah, like, plane seats aren't cheap. They're like a couple $1,000s if you're flying international, isn't it? If only. That would actually be kind of sick, like getting 50% off because you weigh less. Yeah.
too big for just one. As a result, airline companies like Southwest even offered free additional seats for plus-size passengers.
What the fuck? And I can't add, like, extra luggage? But you can have, like, you can weigh more than my luggage and be added on? How is that fair? Excuse me?
By allowing them to request refunds after the fact or request a free extra seat upon arriving at the airport.
Bro!
Fun fact, the Air Carrier Access Act may actually consider obesity a disability because it substantially limits things, like traveling. That's gonna be a no from me there, champ. And let's not forget my own experience flying fat, where I was sat betwixt two very large individuals whose
Oh my
fat rolls
gosh.
were touching my body. I can still feel it now, not great. Not my favorite. And
it's like, it's not even, like it's their fault, but it's like they're so large that they can't help it. It's not like they're doing it on purpose.
apparently that story went viral. I guess it was
Yeah.
a, slow news week that week or something. I won't lie to you all, I have been on the internet for a minute, and I always find...
The fat rolls are so cold. It's weird. I'm no doctor, but is it because they're so far away from your main body? I don't know how it works. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I'm assuming because it's further away from your body, it gets colder. Because fat is like in layers and it's further away from like your center, your core. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The stupidest
Could be,
things that I
yeah.
do are the things that go
Low
viral.
blood
Not
flow.
the-
Yeah,
the
that
thought-out,
too.
thoughtful things that I put into the world. The stupid stuff. Like me getting sat on by a fat. I wrote about that experience for Newsweek, of all places, for the love of God. Anyway, we have been blasted with these things
That's pretty
and
funny.
many more for quite a long time in an effort to promote different body types and get away from the heroin chic of the 2000s. Heroin...
And I'll admit, I actually thought it was really, really sickly and gross that all these women were complaining about being models and how they developed an eating sorry, I can't say that fucking word because YouTube will censor me. You can't. They have problems with eating. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Because they are in demand of being so skinny. If you catch my drift.
is in.
I hate fucking YouTube. I
Not
hate it
the,
so much.
oh, I'm gonna fight a dragon! But like everything else that I've talked about in this series, and yes, me talking about these movements ending is a series now, the overemphasis on being terribly overweight, the normalization of being terribly overweight, is coming to an end. And it's for very similar reasons to the deaths of the LGBT movement, the gender ideology movement, the trans movement, and so on. In part, people have simply gotten sick of it, and the more people who've gotten sick of it, the more that companies have followed suit.
It's also because people aren't like buying. They aren't buying the clothing. I don't think they're making money off of it. Ultimately, that's probably a big reason why there's a shift.
Southwest is walking back its free seating policies, and I'm actually pretty sure that other airlines are doing exactly the same thing. Other companies have wiped their body positivity web pages and shifted away from body positivity in fashion and advertising. And would you actually look at the state of advertising? We're back to the
Oh my
models and
God, look at those
celebrity vibes
honkers!
of the 2000s.
Holy
which were
shit!
quite thin. But more importantly, I don't think your average person actually wants to be fat. Like, a portion of them do, because there's some weird fetish stuff around that, but your average person does not want to be overweight. It doesn't feel good, no matter how much you tell the rest of us that you love your goals.
You sure about that?
Don't nobody want a woman with her stomach all hanging out. I mean, I'm sure it feels really good to, like, you know, eat whatever the fuck you want and eat sugar constantly, but I don't know. I just don't, I'm okay. I'll pass. I'm sorry.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
But right now,
But then, you know what's really hypocritical is that if you showed a man like that on screen, everybody would say, oh my God, fatty, fatty, boom, batty, fatty, fatty, fatty. With women, it's like people have to control themselves, and it's really unfair in my opinion. Like, a really good example of that, I shouldn't say it, never mind. There's people out there who are lol cows, and they're extremely fat, and I see people making fun of them in chat constantly, but then I think about it this way. It's like, it's really mean that people are doing that and stuff, and to a certain point, of course, it's comedic, but at the end of the day, if you switch the genders, and if it was a woman and people were saying that to a woman, people would immediately fucking pounce on them and say, oh my God, you're so horrible. Like, how dare you fucking make fun of her? We need a female lol cow. That's an oxymoron. You can't have a female fat lol cow because you can't make fun of a woman for being fat, but it's okay for someone to make fun of them if they're a dude. You know, like, it's just different.
the third reason, and arguably—
Yeah, Queso, like, again, that's a really good example, actually. Queso plays into it, and it's like his shtick, right? But I don't think you could get away with the same thing with a girl, because it's like people would be like, oh my God, sweetie, are you okay? Are you actually getting your feelings hurt if someone called you fat all the time?
the
Queso's
biggest
all
reason why
muscle.
all of this is taking place.
Yes.
Kind of hilariously,
He
this
is all
era
muscle.
of body positivity and fat
Yeah, Frogan! Yeah, actually, true. I didn't even think of that one.
acceptance was reasonably
can't see
short-lived,
that.
because as soon as people could achieve the bodies they truly wanted with a lot less effort than previously
Wow,
thought,
good for you,
it
woman.
became clear that body positivity was always a
Damn.
cope. And thanks to the rise of weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, the death of this movement has only accelerated. You know, not needing to diet or do that pesky exercise to get the bikini body of your dreams is probably quite appealing to most people. But it is really interesting to consider—
Or people who used to be really fat and then advocating for being healthy because they thought they were going to die before age 40, they get shit on by the people that are still fat in their life. I've actually heard and seen that happen before. They shame them. They're like, oh, well, you're just so too good for us because you lost a bunch of weight.
how much these drugs are changing the game. As many of you know, I use Ground News for my research and found on their website that even Pfizer has just purchased a company that will bring injectables to market. There's other reporting at the moment that says—
I don't trust this. Ozempic has not been around for long enough. I just don't think this is a great idea. I know people will argue and say, like, oh, they've done so many tests. It's like, yeah, but those tests have only been around for, like, what, 2 years, maybe 3 years?
that these kind of drugs are being used as a quick fix. It's really interesting.
We have
how
no
most
idea
of
what's
these
gonna
stories
happen.
Are being covered.
Chat, always be skeptical. Don't immediately trust everything you read, even if it's from, like, you know, studies and stuff. Gotta give it time.
According to Ground News, given how polarizing obesity is. But if I went to any other topic that I've spoken about recently, like Irina Zarutska's murder, just for example, you can see just how biased the reporting is. From just a week ago, we see North Carolina legislature passing Irina's law, which has mostly been covered by right-wing outlets. That's probably not very surprising to any of you. The first headline here from the left that we see is about J.D. Vance blaming Democrats for the stabbing, whereas right-wing outlets are using headlines about cashless bail and the death penalty, which is what the law is about, not about JD Vance. So it really does go to show how these issues get covered by both sides of the aisle and where the biases are. These type of stories always seem to skew to one side or the other, and I know I've harped on this for ages, but it's why it's so important to take the time to educate yourself about what's happening in the news, and this is why Ground News is such a good friend of this channel. We know things are getting more polarized, so it is necessary to have websites like Ground News cutting through all of that. They show you news bias, they let you compare stories, they show you blind spots in the news that you consume, but more importantly, I really encourage you to support them, not only because they have been a long-time supporter of this channel, but because what Ground News is and what Ground News does is so needed during this time. They're subscriber funded, so your support is what keeps them going, and I want to make that really clear. So I strongly encourage you to support Ground News and support what they're trying to do by clicking the link in the description, scanning the QR code on screen, or going to ground.news/Sydney and subscribing to my link for 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the same plan that I use for unlimited use. But here's the kicker, right? And it's something that most of you can probably guess. As the fat acceptance, body positivity movements are nosediving, people in this community are absolutely livid. Influencers and celebrities who built empires on Big is Beautiful, who promoted self-love and wanted to fight fat phobia, are now posting about their size 4 glow-ups, leaving fans feeling betrayed, to put it mildly. And the comment sections on former fat influencers' videos, which were once full of pro-fat positivity, are now absolutely horrific. Now, because I have discussed the origin points of the fat acceptance / body positivity movements before, I would like to quickly reiterate some of that for those of you who don't know, but if you are interested in more information on that, I will link those videos in the description box. Fat activism started all the way back in the 60s. There was a growing backlash to the body messaging of the 40s and 50s that expected women to maintain a tiny frame, take weight loss.
You also had people smoking while they were pregnant to lose weight. Fun fact. Yeah, that was a really big thing. Smoking was like a thing for basically losing weight initially. That was a big forefront for selling it to women. Yeah, and doctors would encourage it for the longest time.
Medication and stay in perfect shape all of the time, which is impossible.
By taking amphetamines! Chat, they used to tell you to take meth to lose weight! Hello?
The 70s and 80s gave people extreme diet culture, like the cabbage soup diet that requires people to basically eat nothing.
I hope you're hungry.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Please enjoy your serving of air. Around the same time, products like Slim Fast popularized the liquid diet craze and group weight loss programs like...
Yeah, and now millennials, late millennials now have massive IBS issues and an increase in colon risks that people are speculating is because of what is it called, liquid diet and not eating proper food. Yeah, my grandma did this. Yeah, dude, shit was crazy. It still is kind of a thing. Like, a lot of people just drink their food now, and it's not great for your body.
Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig were quickly gaining popularity. Eating disorders were on full display in celebrities, and it didn't sit too well with a portion of the population. This gave rise to healthy at every size and body positivity, the latter arguing that basically you should accept yourself, faults and all. And soon the same company—
The pendulum always swings. People always ask me, like, Alana, is the pendulum gonna swing? And I'm like, yes, of course, my dear. Have you seen what's happened with cultures and how this is just a prime example. Diet culture. It started off in the 70s and 80s. It went really, really hard up until the 90s and then early 2000s, and then it swung back in 2010. It's gonna probably correct itself in maybe like 10 to 20 years, and we're gonna be back to like, oh gosh, we gotta starve ourselves.
Who got popular and were once praised for helping people lose—
As long as the corporations continue to still make money.
unwanted weight, were now being accused of body shaming and using toxic, unhealthy tactics. But with the rise of the internet, Tumblr, and Reddit, body positivity morphed and changed, and eventually gave way to fat acceptance and the idea that fatness is beautiful. Fast forward to the 2010s, and it's the Instagram era. Body positivity goes viral with hashtags like fat and fabulous. Brands like Dove and Aerie jump on the bandwagon, pushing real bodies and plus-size lines. But for a brief, beautiful moment, fat activists really believed here that their message was being widely received by a wider audience. Pun not intended, but welcomed. Obese models were on magazine covers.
Oh my gosh, Tess Holiday, man. I'll say it, man. I don't think it's okay to be a size 0, chat. I don't think so. I don't think it's okay. I don't think starving yourself or skipping meals for like fucking days at a time or like sucking on ice cubes is good for you. That's like an actual problem, mental problem. Men suffer from it too, but mostly women. The other polar opposite of stuffing your face full of milkshakes and burgers is extremely bad too. Okay? Like this woman is eating like 10 to 12,000 calories a day to keep up this shape.
Of his runways and red
This
carpets,
is horrible.
and activists were all chanting "fat is beautiful." And things continued on like this for some time, with micro communities gaining speed and size on TikTok, giving us some of the most insane videos that I have shown you over the years. Discussions around fatness made their way into everything: racism, ableism, and it was absorbed.
Being fat is a radical act. Oh my god. Eating more food is sticking it to the patriarchy. Ah, hell yeah. Yeah, you're right.
By the overall progressive movement. But with most
Goodness.
things in 2025, all of this went too far. And for us normies out there, it became a little bit too much. Because much as it pains some people to hear this, there is such a thing as too many roles. And I would argue the vast majority of people yearn to be fit and healthy and able to run upstairs. And once again, and do not
Walk
yell at me in the
upstairs,
comments for saying
man.
this, it's just my opinion. I would argue that a lot of people who jumped on the fat acceptance bandwagon did so because it's a cope. Weight loss for so many people is incredibly challenging, and I'm not going to deny that. You know, we have very sedentary lifestyles. A lot of people do struggle to eat properly just because a lot of American food is highly addictive, has lots of additives, bad additives.
Sugar.
That is not
A lot
good
of sugar.
for you. That leads to rapid weight gain. So
I think it's a lack of education as well, because some people just grab like a Monster or whatever and they're like, oh, well, this is a 0 sugar Monster. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, you know, it's 0 sugar, but it's not going to spike your blood sugar, but, you know, technically it's still a sugar because it's just like a lack of understanding of how chemicals work. But, you know, that's besides the point. And then you look at the sugar content of a Monster, not a zero sugar one, and it's like 36 grams of sugar. And people don't understand that 36 grams is like an entire like cup of sugar.
some ways, it is easier to jump on board a movement that
insane.
criticizes laziness and makes excuses for you not looking the way that you want to look. You know, remember the whole dieting is fatphobic and fatness is genetic stuff? Me too. Me too, fam. But then there appeared seemingly an easier way out of obesity that didn't involve any massive lifestyle changes or dietary changes or doing really anything significant at all. Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. Which I think I'm saying wrong, but I don't care. GLP-1 drugs, as they're known, were supposed to help diabetics, but seem to have become Hollywood's cheat code for weight loss. These shots suppress your appetite.
Yeah, yippee. Taking away from diabetics who need it way more than someone who just is like fat and lazy.
So hard you forget what a cheeseburger tastes like.
Hi, Spicy, what's
Suddenly,
up?
Healthy at Every Size was out, and low-rise jeans were making a comeback. Angry fat activist writers began pumping out articles expressing
Hello,
how
heroin
chic
chic.
was
Ugh.
back in, and they couldn't understand why this was happening. But the change was already in motion, and rather than having to pretend that fat is beautiful and everybody enjoys being overweight, celebrities in particular could take these drugs and then lose weight with relative ease. Celebrities like Kim Kardashian were making massive changes. She
Holy
downsized
shit.
her famous BBL. Singer Lizzo was losing lots of weight and slimming down after promoting fat acceptance for years. And side note, she had to caption a TikTok video recently. Reminder, you can lose weight and still not be fat phobic. Trying so hard not to lose that.
She still wants to eat her cake, man. Yep. This is what I mean, man. Just don't trust celebrities. They still want to, like, you know, milk your wallet. It's like, I still want my fat audience to feel accepted. Don't worry, I'm still fat at heart. It's like, oh my god, man.
Audience that
Shut
doesn't want her
up.
to be healthy.
You're such a clown.
It's sad. That's really sad. Meghan Trainor, a musician who previously and proudly sang about not being a size 2, was suddenly and definitely a size 2. Even Weight Watchers started peddling GLP-1s. Recently on that front as well,
What?
sports star Serena Williams, of all people, has partnered with a GLP-1 weight loss
But she's an athlete. She's supposed to... What?
company, which
She's supposed to be
definitely
s-
wasn't in the bingo cards this year. She's actually been very busy lately complaining about cotton.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. She went into a hotel. She went into a hotel and got triggered by a fake cotton plant in the lobby.
As you do.
That was
All right,
crazy.
Noah, how
Look,
do you
look, look,
feel
look, look.
about cotton as decoration?
Bro, it's just cotton. It looks nice. Are you gonna freak out because there's people who use cotton in their clothes too?
Personally, for me, it doesn't feel great.
What do you mean? Did you pick cotton? How old are you?
So actually, it feels like no polish remover cotton, natural.
Because it's cotton. That's what cotton... Bro, you need to stick to playing the tennis, man. No, stop. Like, did she actually just say... It feels like cotton on my nails, like the nail stuff that you put on. Dude, you're so stupid. It's just cotton, man. They didn't put it there to make you upset.
So yes,
What? Oh, no.
the body positivity movement was in fact co-opted by fat acceptance and morphed
They're
into
cotton
the icky weird thing
balls.
that we know it as today, which was turned into a bunch of slogans and hashtags, and then a bunch of brands jumped on board to take advantage of the momentum that they saw happening out in the world. But with these new miracle drugs, the narrative absolutely flipped. And just by the way, I don't want to get into my personal thoughts and feelings on these. I think this is another case where you as an individual have to decide for yourself if the risk is worth the reward, and nobody else can tell you if it is or isn't. Anyway, the new standard recently has become pretty clear that fatness isn't something to embrace anymore, it's actually something to be fixed. And as more and more people, particularly those in positions of power, so to speak, people who have large audiences, people who have a really big reach, have gotten thinner and thinner, their audiences have not been taking this well. Remy Beta, a TikTok...
I will say another thing though, and what's annoying is that there's people out there who are very likely fat because of their medical problems, like they can't move, maybe they can't go outside, maybe they can't go exercising because their body hurts. And then there's people who are able-bodied and they literally just don't want to work out. And it's like... And then they try to clump them together. It's like, oh, I'm so oppressed too. Don't worry. It's like, oh yeah, I lost both of my legs, but I still try to do the best I can with my disability, and I'm not exactly the most in shape person. And then there's a person who just voluntarily wants to stuff their fucking face full of food. And do they think they're on the same playing ground or the level? Like,
Aka, who built her brand on US size 16 clothing hauls, hyped up fans by telling them to just wear what they want. But she became the subject of ire after she dropped an enormous amount of weight via weight loss surgery. Not Ozempic, but still a medical intervention, so, you know, I'm gonna say that it fits.
Which is a privilege, by the way, because it's fucking expensive, even on insurance. It's very much a privilege to get through, to go through with weight loss surgery or get Ozempic or whatever.
She stayed quiet about this for months, letting fans speculate, until she eventually revealed the truth on Khloe Kardashian's podcast. Her comment section was a war zone. Fans called her dishonest for not being upfront, feeling like she had abandoned them to be skinny. That's the long and short of it. More like...
Abandoned them to be skinny. God, these people are delusional.
Likely so she won't die of a heart attack at 40. But their reasons make sense too, I guess. This
Well, yeah, you get pandered to. Of course you're gonna be pissed. I'm kind of not laughing at them for being pissed. More so, it's like she did technically abandon them. She moved on.
Was similar to that of fat influencer Rosie Blair, also known online as Rosie Bean, who
they
I've
got pandered
discussed in
to.
previous videos. Back in January 2024, she posted about her weight loss journey, admitting to using Mounjaro, which is another one of these like injections. In one post, she wrote that weight loss meant that she felt like she had access to a world that she was previously missing. She liked not being concerned about the size of seating out in the world.
Wow, that's crazy.
She liked flying without feeling worried, and she liked working on her cardiovascular health to achieve her dream body. Now, normal, well-adjusted people would see this as a good thing. Being healthy is a good thing. Having access to the world around you is a good thing. Being able to fit in the world around you is a good thing. But this poor woman's audience didn't see it that way. They accused her of fat phobia. They actually have said some very, very awful things to her. They accused her of being ableist and suggested that she's suggesting that fat bodies can't function. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, it makes it harder to sleep and walk, and your feet hurt, and I don't know, it's probably hard to get out of bed in the morning. You can't walk up the stairs because you run out of breath. Like, yeah, functionally, it's like saying a car with like a broken engine is gonna work the same as one that has a non-broken engine. Hello?
Sure, that's a direct quote.
Excuse
Blair responded
me?
saying that she left the body positive community because she wanted to be more than her size. The backlash eventually got so intense that some fans suggested everyone collectively unfollowing her entirely. This has been the experience of countless former fat activists and models and celebrities and what have you. Like Mindy Kaling. I've never said that word out loud, I've only ever read it, so not sure if I'm saying it right. Probably not, but I don't care. Who has been accused of using Ozempic to get skinny because she lost a ton of weight really quickly, and therefore was accused by fans of promoting fat phobia. Or in 2024, Oprah Winfrey, of all people, who stepped down from her lead role at Weight Watchers after admitting to using weight loss drugs, dropped 60 pounds. Which I think is like, what, 120 kilos?
That's insane.
In the correct system of measurement? Her ABC special, Shame, Blame, and the Weight Loss Revolution pushed a stop shaming message while centering weight loss as empowerment. Fans here were very upset.
You can't pander to both sides. Why can't you just be a normal person? Again, if the situation was flipped and you are a pro, I can't say the word, but if you're a pro-Anna person and you suddenly start saying, oh, I love being fat, I'm gonna start gaining weight, you're gonna lose the audience that was following you for pandering to your side. It goes both ways, and that's why it's a fucking mental illness.
Because Oprah was supposed to be their OG fat positive icon, but obviously that quickly fell apart when she found a way out of obesity. So why does people losing weight, why does people bettering themselves, why do these weight loss drugs send the dying dregs of this movement into a complete tailspin? Well, a lot of these people built platforms on body positivity and fat acceptance, promoting an objectively terrible ideology that
being overweight is the smartest thing you can do. What? How is it smart to slowly die? What?
people feel
Smart!
comfortable in their weight gain. Their weight loss, especially when it's quiet or framed as a health journey, feels like a middle finger to a community of people who want their own obesity reaffirmed. So their weight loss,
There's nothing wrong with my body.
especially when it's quiet or framed as a health
Fat is
journey,
not a
feels
dirty
like a middle
word.
finger to a community of people
No, it's just a fact. No, you're right. It's not a dirty word. It's just a fact.
who want their own obesity reaffirmed. So it's
I'm a fat Barbie. She loves the skins she's in. Celebrates people in bigger bodies, wears funky clothes, and lives unapologetically.
not just about losing weight,
Yeah.
it's about a huge cultural shift that's happening. One that signals that this movement never really had any legs to stand on to begin with and is now slowly falling apart. Fat influencers leaving the movement absolutely started some time ago, and after the deaths of several well-known creators who died of obesity-related issues, the departure has only accelerated. But honestly, it's not terribly hard to see why so many people feel abandoned by their favorite fat influencer, getting skinny and getting in shape, when psychology blogs are telling them it's completely valid to feel betrayed by weight loss? By the weight loss of their favorite online people.
Have you seen the edits of dudes that used to be fat, like 300 pounds, and then it's like a thirst trap edit, and it's just them being like fucking bulked out as fuck, and people gassing them the fuck up? I never see people being like, oh my god, you should have stayed fat for a guy. But then on the other side of the aisle, they'll shit on a woman that does the same thing. No offense, I just think it's fucking stupid that we're in this fucking universe where you do this thing, but then when a woman does it, it's bad, and then the other women are fucking pissed at them. I don't see fat men crying about fat men losing weight.
Stuff is so...
If anything, I hear them getting inspired more than anything. More than anything in the world.
not okay. And I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but it's not normal to feel this way. If anything, I think it's rooted in some deep-seated insecurity and jealousy. The sort of, if I have to look like this, so do you type of thing. Which is ironic and interesting because
crabs in a bucket syndrome, very classic.
Because that
Many
in
such
and of
cases.
itself has become this sort of new trendy school of thought because people forget that they don't actually have to be fat. What I think a lot of people here are actually mad about is the not so subtle reminder that if they wanted to improve, they could. Seeing someone bettering themselves, especially if they're doing it through regular channels like diet and exercise, and I guess actually to an even larger extent with these weight loss shots because a lot of people view it as a cheat code, seeing people do these things and act like this serves as an example of all the things that this other group of people are not doing, but they could be doing if they wanted to, and it makes them feel bad. But instead of addressing the root causes of those very dysfunctional feelings and making positive changes to move through the world with better ease, instead these group of people demand that everybody else acquiesce to them and make changes in order to accommodate their hefty size. Which isn't just unrealistic, it's impossible.
And it's unfair. I've already brought up this example, but you pay a certain amount of money to go on the plane with a set weight limit on your luggage, but then a fat person can get a free seat while weighing just as much as your luggage, like your extra luggage? Excuse me?
The bottom line is that weight loss drugs are not new. And honestly, putting efforts forward, especially in the medical community, to address obesity is also not new, and they are making strides. I think every couple years something new comes out that helps people shed a bunch of weight, and then a couple years after that we find out that it makes you grow like extra toes or whatever. I know that on a statistical level, people have been and are getting fatter, but I do think that we are going to see a big change there in coming years because we are returning to the aesthetics of the early 2000s especially, and that doesn't really in any way, shape, or form accommodate fat acceptance and body positivity in the messed up version that we find it these days. Being hot and cute and sexy is back in, and especially as the entertainment industry
and there's also another funny little quote unquote movement regarding specifically VTubers. I have unironically gotten hate for having a hot model by people that don't like me because they say that I should be more unattractive or be fat or have a fat model. I'm sure other people get it too. Yeah, my model is too attractive, so therefore I'm making other people look bad. Projection? I don't get it. Like, you just don't understand how the world works, man. Sorry, skill issue.
Celebrity culture.
Do all VTubers get that? I'm sure there's people who are fucking absolutely insane enough to shit on them for that too.
And advertising and marketing move away from fat acceptance and body positivity, we're going to see a reemergence of attractive people everywhere in the coming years. And that is just my prediction, and I could be wrong, but 60% of the time I am right 100% of the time. Really early body positivity did have good intentions, but as with most movements, it was co-opted by insane people.
I do think that when I saw like celebrities on not billboards, on tabloids in magazines when I'd go to like the local 7-Eleven, and it's like who was it, Kate Winslet, and she was so skinny you could see her ribs, like her actual ribs, and she has no boobs at all, and you can tell it's not because she's like naturally skinny, it's because she was so sickly thin. And I remember thinking to myself as a child, I was like, damn, did they just let people think that this is okay? How is that okay? That's way too fucking much. Ariana Grande too. Yeah, Ariana Grande is going it through right now too as well. And people are like in denial and saying that she looks okay. And I'm like, dude, she looks so sickly. She looks terrible.
And weird initiatives, and that is why
I want them to have a healthy weight too.
That is why we are seeing the death of fat acceptance, and honestly, I think this issue is only going to fall away further as the years progress. So in the end, I do think it's worth saying that I have so much respect for people who are trying to get in shape and lose weight. I think that's really cool. I think that is such a noble and good thing to be doing in this day and age. I think that there is no reason why you have to be fat, and if you are on a quest to get lean and healthy, that is awesome, and I genuinely wish all the best for you. But for the rest of us, I am sure this is not the last that we will hear about the dying fat acceptance movement, as it loudly and quickly falls apart. Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just and check out Ground News using the link.
I would say the exact same thing if there was like a really strong pro not eating movement. God, I hate YouTube so much. You get what I'm trying to say. I lost someone to the not eating thing. Yeah, it sucks. It's horrible.
They have been a long-time supporter of this channel, so I do encourage you to go and check out what they have to offer. They are doing something that is so necessary today, and I think that it's a really, really good idea that we support people who are making the news space better. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? What do you make of these weight loss drugs? Are you on board with them? Do you think they're a good thing? Do you think that they are a bad thing?
No, they're a terrible thing.
In a number of years, why they're a bad thing? Do you think that the fat acceptance movement is dying, that's falling out of favor because we are prioritizing cute and sexy and hot people again in media and in
not too skinny?
Do you think that
gotta have some meat on your bones, chat?
That this is just a trendy thing,
or some muscle?
Just everybody following trends, and fat acceptance will be back before we know it. And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Except when you guys yell at me, that doesn't make me feel very nice. Of course, my little chickadee noodle heads, I hope
Thanks,
you stay safe and
Sydney!
well and make good choices. And if you are on your weight loss journey, make sure you go to the gym, go and lift up heavy things and put them back down again. And I will see your wonderful little faces in the next video.
Ah, well, I mean, I'm glad that it's changing. That's all I'll say about it, to be honest. Yeah, dude! Wasn't Ozempic meant for diabetes, not weight loss? Yes, and the side effect was weight loss, but there was also a massive another problem with the side effects that were brought with Ozempic. It's not like even though it's been around for like probably I want to say like 20 maybe 30 years, people just use it for diabetes for the most part. Now they're just remarketing it. Didn't also reduce bone density. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but at any rate, you should always consult your doctor if you're gonna use anything like that, even if it's like meant for you. I personally would never do it just because I feel like your body is not meant to go through really radical changes like losing a lot of weight or gaining a lot of weight. A good example of that is like, I think it was who's that actor that does really like popular method acting? He lost a bunch of weight and then he gained it back up and said that it was like the worst thing ever for him. Yeah, it was Christian Bale. He lost, he was basically stick thin, and then he gained all that weight back within like I think a year or something, which is absolutely insane. And he said that was the worst thing he's ever done. He yo-yoed a lot. Yeah, he went from machinist to Batman, and Batman is like, you would have to gain so much weight.